Ever wanted to tell someone they're wrong without starting a fight?
Don't try to tell him, look, you're wrong. Don't say he's wrong, because he's not going to listen to anything else you say after that.
Today I'll show you exactly how to do that, from super polite to brutally honest. And by the end, you'll know what phrases sound polite while actually being considered offensive by native speakers. Sometimes you just want to say someone is wrong, but in English, it's easy to sound rude without meaning to.
I don't mean to be rude, but...
In this video, I'll show you how to do it politely and not so politely. I spent hours finding these phrases from movies, listening to native speakers, and online forums, so let's dive in. We're gonna start with polite phrases, then move to direct and blunt ones, and finally, the rude or even vulgar expressions. Just remember, the tone and situation really matter. So use the right phrases at the right time. Let's start with the polite ones. These are called soft disagreements. You don't say you're wrong directly. Instead, you show you respect, agree a little, and then share your own opinion. This is great for meetings, group work, or any formal situation. Let's look at some examples.
I think we should spend the entire budget on online ads. Online ads reach the most people, so we should spend the entire budget on them.
I see your point, but I have a different perspective. We could also use some of the money to work with popular social media influencers.
I see your point, but I have a different perspective. I see your point, but I have a different perspective.
I guess we should move most of our classes to Saturday.
That's an interesting idea, though I think it might be hard for some students to join on weekends.
That's an interesting idea, though I think... something. I understand what you're saying. However, blah, 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 blah.
Let's just send the file as it is. No need to check.
I understand what you're saying. However, we might end up sending mistakes.
These phrases start by showing you understand or respect the other person's opinion. Then, you gently share your own different point of view. This helps keep the conversation respectful and friendly, even when you disagree. Now, another way to politely disagree with someone is to just express doubt. Instead of directly saying they're wrong, you can express doubt. For example, you can say, "I'm not sure that's entirely accurate." It sounds respectful, but still shows that you think something might be incorrect. Another polite way to disagree is to focus on the facts, not the person.
According to this chart, our user numbers dropped a lot last month.
Are you sure? Let's take another look at the facts. I remember seeing a spike at the end of the month.
So you can say, "Let's take another look at the facts." This sounds calm and professional. You're not saying you're wrong, you're just suggesting to double-check the information. Before we move on to the blunt ways to disagree with people, if you've learned something so far, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel. I post new videos every week to help you improve your English, whether it's grammar, speaking, idioms, or business English. If you want personal help or extra practice, check the description below to find out how to contact me for lessons. Now let's move to blunt disagreements. There are some blunt ways to say that somebody's wrong that native speakers commonly use, such as, "I don't think that's right." "Actually, that's wrong." "That's not true." When you use these phrases, you're no longer being 100% polite. You're starting to sound a bit direct or even confrontational. But listen to this conversation.
"I'll send the report tomorrow. It's due next week, right?"
"You might want to double-check that. It was actually due this morning."
You might want to. You might want to. It's a polite way to give advice or make a suggestion. It softens the tone so it doesn't sound like an order. The structure is you might want to plus the base form of the verb. You might want to bring an umbrella. It looks like it's going to rain. You might want to check your spelling before sending the email. You might want to try the new cafe. It's really good. Now the phrase here is you might want to double check that. To double check something means to look at it again, to make sure it's correct. This sounds polite, but it's actually a blunt or passive-aggressive way to say you're probably wrong. You're not directly saying you're wrong, but you're clearly doubting the other person. Now, passive-aggressive means saying something that sounds polite, but it's actually rude or shows you're annoyed, without saying it directly. Just remember, tone matters. If you say it with a serious or cold tone, it can sound quite harsh. Now pay attention to this collocation, to make sense. When something makes sense, it means it's logical or easy to understand. For instance, your explanation makes sense. It means I understand it. It's clear. If something doesn't make sense, it means it's confusing, strange, or maybe even wrong. Now, let's pay attention to this short conversation. Can you figure out how Chris points out that Maya is wrong?
I'm just going to delete the whole report and start from scratch.
Wait, what? That doesn't make any sense. We only need to change the last page.
Did you catch that? Chris said, that doesn't make any sense. This is a blunt and direct way to say someone is wrong. It's not polite, it shows strong disagreement. This phrase can sound confrontational depending on your tone and how you say it, so be careful when you use it. Now let's move to the rude ones. You can usually think of them in 3 levels. First, you can be rude without actually using rude words. It's all about your tone and attitude. Second, you can use rude words like calling someone clueless or an idiot, but you're not using swear words. And third, you can go all the way and use vulgar language. Those are the swear words you often hear when people are really angry. So, number 1, being rude without using rude words. You have no idea what you're talking about.
So you do not have a clue what you're talking about. If you think this is easy...
Are you even listening to yourself?
He's so true. Are you listening to yourself?
Clearly, you don't understand how this works.
He's like, I don't think you understand how this works.
Here, you sound disrespectful, but you're not actually calling someone a name or using bad language. It's all about your tone. Number 2, using rude words but not vulgar words. That's the dumbest thing I've heard so far. It's like the dumbest thing I've ever heard. And you're clueless.
And you're an idiot, and you're clueless, and you're dumb.
Stop being an idiot.
Stop being an idiot. Seriously, stop being an idiot.
Now you're directly insulting someone, but you're not using vulgar language. Vulgar language means very strong bad words, often about sexual or private things, and people usually find them rude or offensive. So number 3, using vulgar language. What a load of bullcrap. What the f*** are you talking about? You don't know shit about this. This is the strongest and most aggressive type. It includes swear words or very strong slang. Now let's finish with a more idiomatic and witty way to say someone is wrong. If I had $1 for every wrong thing you've said, I'd be a millionaire by now. If I had $1 for every wrong thing you've said, I'd be a millionaire by now. It's playful, it's funny, and it's not as aggressive as the rude ones we just learned. You're basically saying, you've said so many wrong things, I'd be rich if I got paid for each one. I'm thinking about making a video with a whole bunch of funny ways to say someone is wrong. If you want me to do that, let me know in the comments down below. Thanks for watching. Now, you know how to disagree from the most polite way to the most direct. Practice these in your conversations and see which style fits you best. I hope it's not the third one. If this was helpful, like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more practical English tips. See you next time!